this out. This is very important here. Wait, hold on. When you're going to change the world, don't ask for permission. Arcane season 1, episode 2. Ooh, I'm getting that tatted. I'm getting that. That's my next tattoo. That's my next tattoo. When you're going to change the world, don't ask for permission. Oh, yeah.
League, the thing is that you play these characters over and over and over. Hundreds, in some cases, thousands of hours people sit with these characters. I'm actually just messing around in the jungler right now.
Who are you playing?
Mordekaiser. Because he's heavy metal. They're always in this one map, you know, in this one environment. And you start to wonder, like, where do they sleep?
For real.
What do they eat?
He's leading into such a point that is so solid and true, and I can relate to, because that's how I related to Overwatch and what got me in like Valorant even more, why I'm curious about the lore and the universe. And it's because you play this character constantly over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you love this character and you're fascinated. You're like, what more is there? Like, what's beyond just the shooting, especially when you're playing in first person, right? And you just see him and you're just attacking. You're like, but what's the backstory?
What is their normal life like? You know, like what kind of families would they have? We knew Arcane was going to be the very first deep story expression of League of Legends. There's enough video games where...
Oh, so this is the guy in charge. Thank you. Let me remember this name.
We knew Arcane was going to be the very first deep story expression of League of Legends.
Christian. Show. So this is Christian. I thought it was two separate names. Almost like Christian. Christian, creator and show writer.
There's enough video games where the audience asks for a movie or a show for years and years and years, and then they make it, and then it sucks. And then guess what? People stop asking. We were afraid of that. We were like, if we make something that isn't at least good, then we're really, really harming the League IP.
That the fact they recognize that. That's why it's better to take the long road.
Right now, obviously, you know, the phase is trying to wrap up season 1.
This is Echo with
Without hair.
Just oh yeah, without hair, right? I forgot. Here.
He will be the worst kept secret of the show. Everyone will know it's Echo when they see him with the mask on. I mean,
You think?
yeah, of course.
In the trailer, I've seen like several videos, people analyzing it, and they're
There
like,
already is-
"Oh, this
there's already
character
people that say that it's
is
Echo.
absolutely not Echo."
Well,
I was
but
like,
okay,
yeah.
but so the second they see that he has the pocket watch,
Ah, true,
everyone
yeah.
knows he's like the
Yeah.
you know the boy who shattered time. I mean,
That's right.
Because he is.
Hey, how are you doing?
That's another cosplay I have to
You
do.
showed me that we built like a special rig on Jinx. You can kind of control going her face from going looking more childish to like
yeah,
adult.
yeah.
You have that somewhere to pull up?
Yes. So when we first got the first rig of Jinx, the idea was to try to connect her somehow visually to what she was as a kid. Rounder face, bigger eyes, sadder look. We didn't want the typical like crazy girl laughing around like the Joker and just making no sense. We really wanted to make her feel like deranged and emotionally affected by what she went through as a kid.
I think we were a little bit worried, but you know, when we get to the
Bro,
Jinx,
that
we just-
the illustration of Jinx's Disturbia is what made me realize Riot was on a different level of what we understood. Because from the like that scene where she snapped and screamed, the saliva drooling and all, like, to emphasize like the level of like just raw unhingedness and like the shift, like they said, between adult to child looking facial. You could feel, and then the flares of the like the voices,
lose that, like, I don't know, that,
and the way her eyes looked around
beautiful little
constantly and
soul
like
that
never.
just tries to prove to her older sister, like, hey, like, I can do this, you know, like, believe in me. I think we should never work on a project that doesn't offer us something personal to explore. I think for the story that we have, it's a story about family, it's a story about siblings that have a hard time forgiving each other. It's a world of technology kind of taking over and us feeling like we're losing control over it. I think that those are just things that we as people think about and care about, you know. I think we want to also ask some questions that we think should be asked without necessarily giving you the answer, but at least asking, like, hey, does a person, you know, like Jinx deserve a second chance? Can a monster ever be forgiven? I don't know. If you can figure out, like, what is something that if you love it, a lot of people would love it, that's where you really should go hard. And I think that's what we tried with Arcane, you know. We'll see, but I think it has potential.
The fact they pre-filmed this during the build process of Arcane to show how genuine they were, so you could feel like they put their all into this and, like, we hope it does well. I only dream in risky.
How you doing, bud? The skinks. I've had them for 23 years now. I got them when I was 15 and definitely old enough to make that kind of commitment. The thing when you work on story is that, just generally speaking, it never stops. I feel like I just have voices in my head that argue a lot, and every now and again, something they say makes sense, and then you write it down.
Facts.
And that's basically
oh, I fucking felt that. Facts.
Yeah. That's how the characters happen. These are obviously League of Legends characters mostly. I was original creative on, like, Riven up there, and Ahri, and let's see, Wukong, Nautilus, Lee Sin, and then there's just, I don't know, that guy I thought was cool.
So I did go to
I need to
school
get a
for
standing
writing.
desk.
You know, I went out to LA. One of the things that I stumbled upon was a truly bare bones, desperate sounding Craigslist post for a video game startup. My first and consistent reaction to that was, this company has no chance.
I started playing in beta, and I found, the job offering to work in customer support at Riot on Craigslist. Would you let me to be interviewed by Alex?
Yep. For the record.
I think League was just really fun because it felt like there was kind of like the fingerprint of the people who made the game was so palpable when you played it, because the characters were so quirky, they were so different. You could just kind of tell people were just enjoying making these characters.
Oh, I've never seen early League.
Meetings were so fun. We only had the one conference room, and it would just be everyone at the company who liked that, who was enthusiastic about it, just comes in, and you'd show up with something, right? You'd be like, here's this sweet art that I found, or here's this idea that I just jotted down. How do we turn that into a champion? I think the reason that we focused on Jinx was because, I don't know, Jinx just always had this spirit at the company. Katie D'Souza did this, I mean, it wasn't a sketch, it was like a full concept of what she called Psycho Arsenal.
Psycho
not
Arsenal.
So different, honestly, from what Jinx looks like right now. You know, the long pigtails and just kind of like guns all over the place. I mean, everyone just fell in love with it immediately.
Fine, Jinx.
What's not to fall in love
Alex
with?
and I always really liked.
Bravo.
What? Oh, I love this shot with the glowing eye. I'm a sucker for glowing eyes. Like dark silhouettes with the eyes glow to emphasize like just that.
We worked on them together on, you know, the different kind of teams. Alex was working on like the characters themselves, like their creative, their voiceover lines with, you know, other writers.
Oof.
Such a loser.
Oof. Hold
You know,
on.
the different kind of teams. Alex was working
Hello.
on the characters themselves, like their creative, their voiceover line.
Hi, Vi. Come here often. Hello. Name's Jules. Zulez. Call me whatever you like. What are you doing later? I'm gonna go real quick. I'll be right back though. Hold tight. Did he take the
With, you know, other
Did he
writers.
take the lotion with
Such a
him?
loser. Always ready to cry.
And I worked on the music and on the cinematic on Jinx. So on the, I want to try something fun right now. So fun should have some kind of spike up, you know, like the screechy.
Okay, I'll try.
Come on, shoot faster, just a little bit of energy.
What?
Try something fun right now. I get some people calling out again. Let's blow this situation.
And you know, when Christian made Get Jinxed, that was the most storytelling I think we'd seen in a video at that point.
Arcane started when Alex and I sat down together and were thinking what the devil we should be doing next.
Riot in general kind of struggled to put out like long-form narrative content. Our goal was to have deeper storytelling, right? To not just do video game action.
Love that. Love that. Love that.
Or as we at the company tend to call it, fight porn.
Fight porn.
I don't know if we call it that anymore, but that's what it always was.
I just always had this sense of obligation to the players. You know, it just felt like we created these characters and the players answered us by spending so much time with them and loving them, and it just felt like they deserved to have better stories.
Whenever Jinx kills someone, she actually gets kind of like amped up. If basically the promise is
It
like,
would be nice to find some kind of thread, some sort of like emotional question thread.
we were just kind of talking, you know, like, man, like how fun it would be to make something that's a bit bigger, you know, and the animation space and the story space, and to kind of embrace all these different strengths that the team had developed over the years. Animation, music.
Every child. That sounds dumb.
Wait, was he the one that recorded that? Is he the one that every child in ever dun, 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 dun. Like the sad where was his cat?
Building characters, stories, and just go deep on it. We had this amazing, amazing partner in Fortiche, this animation studio in Paris. We worked with them on the Jinx music video, on the Imagine Dragons music video for Warriors. They just always had this this X factor of these beautiful visuals. It's super artistic and everything. It just kind of always clicked, you know? I always thought that if there's any superpower that we had in the beginning to make Arcane a thing, it was whether or not we could really unleash the potential of Fortiche.
Okay, let's find out about the studio that brought this thing to. Ooh, cause y'all killed it. Oh, is it the guy skating backwards? It makes sense. Any guy that can skate that smooth has to be able to do some skillful animation like that.
Le problème, c'est de finir après avec un shot final où t'as Rémi qui serait beaucoup trop à gauche et lui qui serait beaucoup trop à droite, quoi.
The Buddha is the yes man of the company. He's saying yes to everything. Is this a good idea? Yes, it is. Can I do it? Yes, you can.
We do a mix of 2D and 3D. Because the 2D effects are done in 12 images by second, then and the animation it's 24, like all the movie. So you have a mix of style, geek with dirty.
Hard at work.
Yes.
C'est très bien. C'est l'énorme lentille. Typiquement, moi, je suis pas fan de la 3D pure et je trouve le style très intéressant, quoi. C'est plus organique.
How do you texturize something to look like a painting?
We paint.
Oh man. Hold on. Let's just bring it back.
We paint.
Wait for it. Hold on. Just wait. Look at this. Every detail of this. Do you know this is probably just being super enlarged just to get every minor detail. That's. Ooh.
So let's say you have like a character smoking a cigarette. Instead of having like a 3D smoke being simulated by 3D tools, it's actually 2D drawn, frame by frame.
Oh,
And,
what?
Almost cartoony effects.
In fact, I start to do this 2D mix and 3D since 20 years with music video.
On est en train de maltraiter.
For me, it's a new way to do animation. It's not anime, it's not full CG, it's a mix of everything.
It's almost like it makes you think it's not a mix of 3D, but it's almost like full perception. Like true perception, organic, true perception.
It's an interview right now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not in the good mood.
I met Arnaud in a party. Arnaud was doing fun, cool music video with no money.
Je faisais de l'animation, mais c'était tout le temps un peu expérimental. en mix média, en stop motion, mais souvent avec une grosse partie quand même live action.
Cheers.
Ask Pascal a little bit.
As what?
Nothing.
Maybe another day?
A little bit drunk, maybe. It's gonna be easier.
I met Pascal, he was the best guy for doing character in Paris.
Oh, that's heat.
When I was a kid, my dream was to make comic books or work on, you know, for Marvel and stuff like that. I like characters. I like.
They did Gorillas. They did Gorillas. It makes sense now.
And bring story.
I think back then I just found these tests that they would do where you go like, man, like this looks different. This doesn't look like the typical expensive Hollywood animation production. This just looks like, this looks very French.
Ugh.
I think he liked the mood because it was
That makes sense why I like Arcane. Oh, they had Gorillas ties.
more lighting with flares and haze and something more like a live action movie.
Fortiche from the very beginning had this very unique approach to camera, making you feel like there's a person filming whatever's happening. There was an imperfection that could only be human in how it moved and how it felt. To be fair, the first answer when I went to the right leadership was like,
I'm gonna say this now because I probably won't pause anymore after this, if I can, cause you. It should be on the thing.
I didn't see him. Let me look. Is that legally black?
Where else they could be? Sorry, y'all. Roommate left his keys. Was looking for his keys.
I think we should make a TV show about our characters that is the highest budget ever spent on an animated series. It's gonna be great. First answer was no, get out of the office.
That was like a, oh crap. Like, Christian has showed up with those like bold ideas and bold asks before, you know, but this one was such a leap from sort of music video to like full animated show. It's so unbelievably daunting. And in the back of my mind, I'm just going, how am I gonna talk Christian out of this? Like, how am I gonna help him realize that like we're jumping the shark here?
And then I came back and said, okay, give me like $2,000. They're like, okay, fine. And so we just started, you know, doing some concept art.
Bro, it's like that, bro. Because even for the founder side, it's a scary thing. That's like when you're making these, like, trust me, even from me, like this low, when I'm doing certain content ideas, like me saying I'm gonna, all right, just focus on gaming, like certain things and aspects and
But yeah, this looks pretty cool.
I thought it was a great idea, but I also
knew how difficult it was to pull something like this off. We have something called the video game curse, which is very few games have adapted into film and television well.
Yes.
One of the things that's really true.
Yes,
that
yes,
every
yes,
creative
yes,
can relate
yes.
to is a lot of great creative ideas, they're fragile. They start off as a dream and an idea and a vision, and they haven't been fleshed out necessarily.
Okay, it was a little bit more. Now we can explore some 3D models and everything. Like $5,000. They're like, okay. And
I don't remember getting any of this money.
anyway, let's not to linger on this very unimportant.
You got $2,000.
All right, this is our first behind the scenes in the writer's room. Alex, what year is it?
1922.
While we were developing the story, we also started working with Fortiche on these little spikes, you know, of like, hey, what would it look like if Vi was just in her apartment in Piltover, and she's like venting about how Powder, her little sister, you know, is just always messing up. You know, it was just a test of like, hey, like, can we even do animation where acting feels good?
All you had to do was run, Powder. Didn't we spend a bunch of time preparing you for this? You and I?
Oh, wait, that's a different voice actor. That's a different voice actor and a different. Wait a minute.
In the back of my mind, I was going, I kind of hope this loses steam because this is so unbelievably ambitious. Like, I don't know how in the world we're going to pull this off.
That's when I said, okay, could you give me like, I think it was like $65,000 or so.
Oh, is this the... So was this the test fight that sold them to do it?
And there was this fight scene, it was sort of this animation test with...
In 2015. They did this in 2015. This was a test animation.
Rooftop. It was so sick, just in terms of how the characters were expressed and how they came to life. Like all those little incremental tests were all, they were just like, yeah, we need more of this.
This is the test shot from Arcane in 2015. That's good. Right?
I think that was the time when I think they realized that I'm probably serious about this project. I said to them, well, I mean, you have concept art now for the characters, for environments, you have 3D models, you have animation tests, you have material that we've had developed for the pilot. And I was like, are we gonna do this or not?
I sort of think about it as like, oftentimes not knowing what we're getting into was an advantage, because I think if we did know, we would have said, there's no way.
I mean, animation tests, it was beautiful, right? But it was just a small snippet of what the full series would be. And there were so many
hello,
questions
Jane.
about, like, oh, what is the full story?
To me, the stakes are really high because we want to be respectful of players' time and trust. I'd for sure much rather not do a show than releasing something that's just okay.
I don't know if anyone among Riot's leadership necessarily thought that we would definitely be able to do it, but I think they all understood that we just had to.
Jace. Oh, wow. These are all the variations. Ooh, some of the... Oof. Ooh, these weren't bad at all. Ooh, this shortcut one right here.
I mean, like, this was a bet. It was a risky bet. You just kind of have to, at some point, make that bet, you know, otherwise it's only gonna be ever a theory.
Facts.
Fortiche was 5 people. So we had to build a studio of now 200, 250, 300 people, which is like, how do you build an animation studio? You know, we're a game company, how do you do that?
At that point, Fortiche had produced 2, 3, 4-minute music videos.
Le pari pour Christian et Riot, c'était est-ce qu'on était capable de sortir 5 heures, 6 heures de film. Et non plus, on ne savait pas.
When I met Christian, I remember him talking about the character arcs and what's gonna happen in that episode, and I've already that in mind, and it's gonna be like so emotional. And I was like, dude, you're crazy. We haven't even started the first minute of the show. I don't think he was realizing what he was getting into, but I think he was a fool.
Listen, that man Chris, everybody, like, everyone says, see how everyone's saying they thought he was an idiot? Bro, it's the crazy, I feel him. They will always say you're fucking crazy, Wild, and you can't do it. It's impossible till you start doing it. Man,
But
you just
the
gotta go.
excitement he had when he was talking about the show made the difference to me.
Even when there are a lot of question
When people can
marks
feel how
and
you talk about
obvious
something.
concerns, and on paper it's not supposed to work because the experience isn't there and the resume isn't there. Like that's precisely when it's worth jumping into the deep end of the pool and learning how to swim.
Il y avait plus de peur pendant le test que finalement quand on a commencé à faire le pilote. C'est là où on a pu mettre tout ce qu'on avait un peu en nous, toutes nos références, où il y a eu ce côté... ouais, enfin,
His story, Victor's story was very dark. Like, that disturbed me. What happened? Just thinking about it. Like, the whole...
Laisser les clés.
That one hit me kind of... Whew, I get goosebumps every time I think about his story. $10 months. It took the first episode 10 months to animate.
Basically, we had the pilot, wrapped up more or less, and now was the time to start working on the rest of the first season.
We had an entire arc for the first season, filled with moments, lots of art, lots of exploration, different locations, different characters, and we were already feeling the pressure of the sort of pipeline rolling.
These episodes take a tremendous amount of time to animate, and once the episode is in various stages of animation, changes are possible, but any change is tremendously disruptive in terms of the amount of time and resources it takes to so you're kind of locked in.
So yeah, at some point, there was a meeting on my calendar, and I went to Brian's office, and there was like a bunch of people in there.
He basically he called me and told me like, hey, I just talked to Brandon and like everyone.
It was basically like an intervention meeting.
And by the way, that's what we do for everything, even in game. If we're like on the cusp of launching and we think it's not right, like we'll stop, we'll hold, we'll pivot, we'll cancel.
Perhaps it's time I cut my losses.
I think with everything creatively, you're always kind of waiting for that hammer to fall. We wanted to make sure the story that players got.
I respect Chris so much because I resonate with, out of anybody on this screen, really, I love Riot, but I resonate with Chris, and I get a huge feel of like, fuck y'all. Love y'all and appreciate y'all and everything, but fuck y'all, because I've been in a similar situation, but not with exactly the same shoes like animation, but in my own field of something else. And it was the same thing. And even Chris,
to their
salute. You gave us something amazing.
We shouldn't.
You held your ground.
The consensus was, you don't have the story yet. and it's not going to work, you know?
Whew. Oh, you the hollow Ichigo mask? Thank you. Yeah. All right.